Hey guys, it's Ishaan, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you the secrets, the tips and tricks, and basically everything I wish I had known before starting my business. I started my business when I was 17 years old, and if I had watched this video, if somebody had gave me this advice, it would have just been so much easier because it would have saved me from faffing about. So let's go straight into it and dive into exactly what would have helped me start a business. Number one is the idea. Before you start a business, make sure you have a good idea. Now, a good idea essentially is something that solves a problem. Is there a problem that needs to be solved, or is there an untapped niche? For me, my problem was there's not many creators in the educational niche, and there's a real problem about people undercharging for brand promotions. So I decided to make a community out of it and built an agency. But one easy thing that you can do is look for a problem and find a solution. That's stage one, which is the idea. And the idea is so important because that's what's going to fuel you to keep going. That idea is going to become the core of the business, but that idea will branch out into different things. Things like me, I built an agency for creators, but now it's more of a community. It's more like we provide events, we do all of this access stuff. It's a really good thing. It's sort of evolved into something bigger than it initially started as. And that's something that's going to happen with your idea, and you have to be open to evolution within business. So let's talk about actually the process of starting a business. You cannot just start earning money into your personal account because there's something called tax, and you need to make sure that you're doing this correctly. If you are receiving money into your own name, you're what is called a sole trader. Now, there are so many benefits of being a sole trader, and there's so many of disadvantages of being a sole trader. Ultimately, I'd say I'd open up a limited company because it separates your business from you as an individual. A limited company is a completely separate entity, and you can basically make one using Companies House in the UK. You don't need to be a UK citizen to make a company in the UK. A lot of people do because it's very simple. It barely costs anything. In terms of the costs, you have to pay about 25 to 30 quid to actually open the company. For me, I think it was 25 quid. I can't remember, the rates might have gone up to 50 quid, I'm not too sure. You do need a virtual office address, which is, for me, I got it in Great Portland Street. I pay about 120 quid a year. And then you have to also pay for your filing stuff. So roughly I pay maybe about 200 quid to actually get the company open. And then you have to actually do accounting. You do what I would recommend, rather than hiring an accountant, learn the basic skills of accounting. Look at systems like Xero or Sage and learn how to actually reconcile your accounts, how to do your accounts, how to raise invoices, etc. Because otherwise you're going to have to hire an accountant, and that's just another outgoing for your company, which I do have because, I was a bit lazy, but I did manage to learn with my second business, and that is also going pretty well. So learn accounting and learn the basics of business. Also, just another reason why you should open up a limited company is also because you will be taxed on corporate tax, not income tax, which is two different things. So you're going to be paying less tax if you incorporate as a limited company, plus you can pay yourself a salary, a tax-free salary of 12,500 a year, plus take dividends, which is a great benefit as a business owner. The next thing I wish I had known is that getting clients in is hard. It is very hard to secure your first client, but when you secure your first client, you can replicate that technique again and again. Now, by securing a client, what you actually have to do is convince them to spend money, and that's where your sales hat needs to come on. And one basic skill that every single person needs to have is sales. If you can't sell something, how are you going to start a business? For me, I had no sales background. I had no experience in selling something, but what I did have was the mindset. I knew that if I buy something for £1, I can sell it for £2 easily, and I make £1 profit. Now, if you replicate that 1,000 times, what is that? It's £1,000 profit. If you just get your mindset around you buy low and sell high, you make a profit, sales becomes a bit easier. Remember, sales is about emotion. You can't just be like, oh, can you buy this, buy this, buy this, oh, I'm selling this. you have to actually dive into the psychology, and that's where you have to read a few books, because you are actually having to manipulate people. It's the art of manipulation. It's getting what you want. You need to be able to manipulate people for them to buy something from you, and that's so important. So before starting any business, make sure you know the basics of sales. The next thing I wish I'd known is how easy it is to actually get investment. Now, there is so much money in the world. You just have to open your eyes, and you have to just be connected to the right individual to get investment. Me personally, I wasn't connected with these people and I had to do it from scratch, but it's a fat possibility that you can do it, and you just have to open your eyes and look for an investor. If you're just starting out, it's normally an angel investor that you'd look for. Somebody that's willing to put in 20,000, 30,000, 100,000 for a percentage of your company. Now, the good thing about this is there are so many people that are willing to invest in young people, and you just have to open your eyes, look on LinkedIn, connect with people, do some research, because funding is big. It's a big thing, and people will support you, especially if you believe that your idea is good and your idea is going to make money. The only reason somebody would put money into a business is because they want that money back plus 10%, 20%, 100% returns. So it's literally like investing into a stock market, but it's a very, very high risk thing that they're doing when investing in you. I now personally know tons of angel investors and VCs, and I witness people actually investing in companies, and I know exactly what makes a good idea and what doesn't make a good idea. And what you need to think about is the long-term plan. You should always have a plan for the long term. It's no good seeking investment if you don't have a plan in place. What is that investor going to expect to see in the next 10 years? Are you going to double their money? Are you going to lose their money? You need an exit plan. The exit plan is so important, because sure, you might make a family business, but who is going to invest in that family business? They want their money back. An investor always wants their money back, plus extra. So take a look at Tinder, for example. Tinder is the biggest sort of matchmaking dating site. It was sold to Match.com or Match Group, the Match Group. But why did Match Group buy Tinder? Because they wanted the full market share. They bought Tinder, they bought Bumble, they own the whole dating thing. And the founders made millions. They made absolute millions because they had a really, really good idea. They got Series A funding or seed funding as well. And those investors who gave that initial seed made a mint amount of money, because obviously later on that line, their money quadrupled, whatever, even 100 times, because they sold to a much bigger firm. So getting investment isn't hard. You just need to make sure you have a solid idea. You should have a solid plan, and you need to find somebody that matches the same vision as you. The next thing I wish I'd known was about bank accounts. Business bank accounts normally are low interest accounts, but you can find the high interest ones. I personally use a bank called Alicia Bank, Alicia, I don't know, which gives me about 4.09% on my savings in my business account, which is about maybe £400, £300 a month, roughly. But it's good because I just use that as my savings account, but the easiest bank that I would sort of start with is Monzo, maybe I think 1% return, but it's very, very easy to use. After that, when you've actually got capital, then I'd think about moving to another bank with a high interest rate, which has no fees. I would avoid the high street banks because they're just ridiculously hard to deal with, not gonna lie. I've never used one. I used to use one when I was a kid, but now I think everything's moving to the digital era. I use Monzo, I use Amex, I use Alicia Bank, I use Revolut. Revolut I'm not a big fan of just because it's quite costly. Banking is very, very important, and you need to sort of get your bank account done right. The next thing I wish I'd known is expenses. The good thing about having a business is you can expense things to your business, i.e. this phone was a business expense. I bought this phone under my business because I use it for business. A lot of my travel is business expense rather than my personal expense because I do business when I travel. This camera itself was a business expense because, look, essentially the point is a lot of your life, a lot of it doesn't have to come out of your own income. It can come out of the business, and that can help because it reduces your tax and it allows you to buy buy things. For example, a Tesla. I know a lot of people buy electric vehicles under their company because it's essentially a company car. You do have to be careful with this because it has to be for business purposes. I can't just buy this TV through my business because look, I'm watching it in my leisure time. So it's not actually a business expense. So you have to be careful about what you buy and what you sort of put through your business. And the final tip that I would give you guys is to start young. You've got nothing to worry about. You have like all the time in the world to take the risk. Take it now. Take the risk now because there's not much that could go wrong. You start with nothing, you end with nothing. At least you tried and you failed and you can redo it. Like, you have to keep redoing it and you're always going to fail. You might just lose $1,000, $2,000, but at least you tried. So I hope this video did help you and gave you a bit of motivation and advice. If I can do it, you can. I had no help. I kind of literally did it from zero. I did it through my personal brand, but if I had no help, you can do it too. All you need is this video and YouTube, and you just need that idea. And when you have that idea, it's your job to turn it into reality. So hopefully you like this video. If you want more videos on entrepreneurship, then do let me know. I'd love to make some more about my business and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. It would mean the absolute world if you subscribed. I am trying to grow my following again, but it's quite hard. But yeah, have a great day, guys. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.